Hey, Jagmeet, thank you so much for taking the time and welcome to the shift.
Of course, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Well, it feels like we're almost on the other side of this pandemic. I mean, we don't know, but let's be hopeful here. It's been pretty tough on a lot of us. So, how have you been able to find your moments of joy?
You know what? I love that you said that. I actually have a daily practice that I need. So I got to spend time outdoors. I have to read. I love cooking. I love music. And so I got to put on music. I got to dance a little bit, vibe out to some reggae, some soca, some R&B. I got to fill up my joy meter so that I can go out and fight the day and do the work that I also love doing. But you need to have that happiness in your heart to do the good work.
All right, well, I'm going to tell you how one of the ways that I found my joy last week, and that was when I was preparing for this interview with you. I'm going to show you something. I'm just going to need you to explain to me what the heck is going on here. I mean, look at all this juking and whining. The people want to know, Jagmeet, are you going to crop over once this pandemic is said and done?
I'm going everywhere. I fell in love with it when I was in university because the Caribbean Student Association and the South Asian Association used to throw joint jams. So half the night would be Bhangra and the other half would be soca and reggae. And I heard soca and it spoke to my heart, like straight to my heart. So I've been a big fan of Machel and jumped on stage with him one time and that was amazing.
I mean, you're like a TikTok star, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, you have just this unconventional way of connecting with so many people. It's worked out in your favor when you look at your IG, the ways in which you've been able to put out your messaging of what you're about, maybe your party's also about. It's engaging and so many young people have actively participated in the conversations that you've generated. Are you intentional about all that stuff?
When we got into this, I go, we've got to do this differently. If we're going to do politics, we've got to do it differently. We've got to keep it grassroots. We've got to keep it real. And so that's been a big theme for me, a big part of why I do this. I want to make it real and connect with people. The same way, if I see people at a coffee shop, I want to walk in and chat with them. Social media is the same thing to me. We see people, we know they're hanging out on Twitch or on TikTok. I want to try to reach out and connect with folks. So I think it's an important tool. I still like the person-to-person, face-to-face connection, but I think it's a great way to connect with people.
One of the things that I always get frustrated about is when people see me on social media, they're like, wow, you're so political. But for me, there's politics and then there's speaking out on human rights. And I think I'm doing the latter. What's your take on that? Because I know that a lot of people might say that about you.
It's a really good question because I've looked at politics and a lot of people have with a really negative light. Like I also had a lot of cynicism about politics, but really life is political. We make choices, we make decisions. And we organize. Like when we're in a group of friends, we kind of try to persuade each other to go to a certain place or go to this party or go to this restaurant. So everything we do involves, we got to talk to people, hear them out, try to push for a decision. And so I think there's nothing wrong with politics. What makes people frustrated is when it's not about people and when it doesn't make a difference in people's lives. So that's what I've been trying to do, is that actually politics is good. Let's make sure our healthcare works for each other. Let's make sure the ultra rich pay their fair share. These are good things that we should talk about and make decisions on.
Well, if we don't know anything about Jagmeet, know this: you do not want that smoke because, I mean, you have a mixed martial arts background. How did you get into that sport?
I watched UFC #1 on a cassette tape, kind of dated myself a bit, but I rented it from a video rental, which don't even exist anymore. And I watched it and I saw this really skinny, small guy beat up these bigger guys and win fights. And I thought, what is he doing? It looked like magic to me, this kind of smaller guy winning. And I learned that there's another martial art called Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is all about using leverage and momentum. And a smaller person can beat a stronger person if they've got the right technique. And I thought that was amazing. So I learned that as well. I got into boxing and kickboxing, and I competed at a pretty high level, amateur when it came to grappling. I love the spirit of martial arts, where it's about not necessarily learning the martial arts so you can beat someone up, but having that confidence in yourself to know that you can take care of yourself. And then what happens is you find you don't need to fight.
Listen, Jagmeet, thank you so much for taking the time.
Hey, I appreciate it too. This is really fun having a chat with you. Thank you.